Greetings everyone, I'm Mar. Once again, this is my opinion, as you can tell from the title up there, continuing my trek through the episodes of the classic 90s animated show, Batman the Animated Series. This is episode 16. I was reading the wrong part of my notes on here. This is The Cat in the Claw, Part 2. Now, I said near the end of my review of Part 1 that whether I would feel this is one that deserves to be two parts. I'll keep that for the ending of this one. I could definitely say with the story I could see why they made it two parts, but it's also one of those ones that, yeah, they were really looking for plot points in order to make this a two-parter. I mean, part of the story might have been more engaging if it was one part and it was more with Catwoman and espionage instead of trying to shoestring another villain in there with a Claw theme, but I think part of that is just Red Claw. Other than her voice acting and design, there's really not a lot that's engaging about the character so far. Definitely the weakest of the villains. Now, this episode picks up right after Part 1. We finally get to see Bruce and Selina go on their date properly, or do we? Because they get chased by goons hired by the businessman who also worked for Red Claw. We get a nice little chase scene where Bruce is driving the vehicle. Of course, considering he's still masquerading as a playboy, he has to play it off. Says something about seeing some of the races. Maybe one of these days he'll actually enter them. Well, that is a nice little way to really play it off in the car chase scene. Love the design of the car once it gets hit. Just love the way the scene is set up. The chasing music. Of course, this is not the beginning of the episode proper. Before that, we have a scene involving Batman trying to get Red Claw, and she steals a virus from the United States Army. Which, watching this, I realize the Army being nothing but buffoons that easily get stuff stolen from them. That's a very, very common trope. I just wonder how easy it would be to steal stuff from the U.S. Army like this. Now, based on the soldiers we see in this episode, I can say maybe a little bit, because most of them seem like they were privates just fresh out of training, because I didn't see an NCO among them, so maybe just privates lack discipline compared to ones that have been in a while. Who knows? That'd probably be the only way on there. But they managed to steal it, and it is a virus that if Red Claw releases it, everyone within a 10 square mile radius is dead. And that's what she threatens Batman with in order to allow her to escape. Well, Bruce and Catwoman, we see just like in other iterations, like the film that they were synergizing with, there is that attraction. By the end of this episode, neither knows where it's a mutual thing. Bruce knows that Catwoman and Selina are the same person, but she does not understand that Bruce and Batman are the same person. She's attracted to Batman. Whether she is to Bruce yet or not, we don't know. But the beginning of that off-again, on-again relationship that they have throughout the rest of the series, it continues here, and you can definitely see it. And of course, part of it goes with Bruce letting Selina run away at the very end. Now, Selina, she decides she's going to break into the compound owned by the businessman we saw in the first part. And, of course, her breaking in there does lead to her getting captured by Red Claw, but Batman also winds up being captured by Red Claw. And now it's a race against time to where they have to break out of their bonds, make sure that the virus doesn't get released, and capture Red Claw. And, of course, considering it's the second part, you know that the bad guys are going to get punished, Selina is going to escape, and more or less things kind of go back to a status quo. And that's really all there is to say about this episode, other than there's a funny little moment where Commissioner Gordon's on the phone with a general, and then when he sees who's calling, he's like, I'll call you back. And then, of course, it's Batman, but he's driving around in the daytime because he's his Bruce Wayne guys. And I thought that was a little funny. That's a nice little dichotomy there. But there's not really much else to say about it. I mean, the animation's fine. The music, especially in the action scenes, I thought that was pretty good. Nice little takes on the main BTAS theme. Other than that, there's really not much else to talk about this episode with. There's not a lot of themes to go with, other than I do like the beginning of the Catwoman, Batman, Bruce Selina relationship. The only downside is, and this is a retrospect thing, is that we know it never 100% goes anywhere, which that's kind of fitting considering the comics. They'll go a little bit, they'll do some development, status quo reset. Just go a little bit, status quo reset. So I guess there's kind of a little metaphor in there about comics and their storylines somewhere there, but it would have been nice. I do know that there's an episode in Batman Beyond where the ending line of the episode is Bruce telling Terry about Selena, so at least then into his old age he still does carry a little bit of a flame for her. Well, that's really all there needs to be said about this episode. I'm not going to really drag this episode on much longer. Sorry, this week there's not a lot. Next week is going to be in the episode called See No Evil, which I got one note for that, which will be interesting to bring up. But of course, that'll be next time. Till then, everybody.